Today we've got another man overboard. We are going to talk about looking at some different cruise ports that maybe you live a little bit closer to than the traditional ones that we think about in the United States. We're also going to talk about the Island Princess, a little bit about Princess Ezair, and then I'm going to let you know our bus. We were on a princess excursion today and we were late back to the ship. And so I'm going to let you know what happens, and maybe it's a heads up. I know I will do something different next time. So let's go ahead and get started. Before anything else, I would like to invite you to please subscribe to our channel, and if you appreciate these updates, would you please give this video a thumbs up? Both of those really help us out, and we'd love to have you here in our Let's Go family. If you do Facebook, please do come and join our Let's Go Travel Tips Facebook group. It's going to be a wonderful place for you to be, as well as I know that you have got a lot of information and experience to share with all of us. So I look forward to seeing you all there. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips, and today is Monday. It is July 24th of 2023, and today we spent the day at the Port Greenock, Scotland. It's called Glasgow because of the proximity to Glasgow and visiting Glasgow. If you are on a cruise, we didn't go to Glasgow. We went and saw the Scottish Highlands as far as you could go in the amount of time that we had. And so I will tell you all about that. I want to start off at the top though, letting you know, and I don't always talk about this here, but I think that this time when I saw the news, I felt overwhelmingly sad. And this is the 6th time this year, and we are only July 24th, that Carnival has had a man overboard. So the stories that I could find about it, that the gentleman who is 30 years old, after Carnival reviewed the security tapes, they believe that he jumped off the ship. The Coast Guard is searching for him and they have not found him yet. And so I remember that, they can always find them, and often they don't, but I felt like I wanted to tell you about it so that we could keep our thoughts and prayers with his family. Of all the sad ways to lose someone, to go on a cruise and have a family member jump overboard has got to be really hard on people. And so I just wanted to let you know so that maybe you can keep them, like I said, in your thoughts and prayers. The next thing that I think we need to talk about here, and I've been thinking about it a lot because the port that we were at today there in Greenock, Scotland, is an industrial port. It is not a cruise ship terminal, but it is so handy for cruise ships to come and dock there so that people can go see Glasgow, Scotland, or so that they can go to lots of other places. And as I was thinking about that, I came across a story talking about the ships that are actually going to do the winter season out of Baltimore. So think about the people that live, and which are really quite a wide range there, that you could drive to the port there in Baltimore. A lot of time in that region, maybe people would think that they needed to go up to New York to go on a cruise, or especially down to Florida. There's all of these ports everywhere, but there's a port in Mobile, Alabama, as well as in Galveston. Charleston sometimes has cruises going out of there. So Baltimore comes to my mind because of their cruises that they do to Bermuda. I don't know how it ever started that Baltimore became a popular place for cruises to leave from to go down to Bermuda. So I thought I would let you know that officially the winter season in Baltimore goes from November 22nd through January 2nd. I know that's a small window, but that's what they call the winter season there. And so the cruise lines that are going to have ships there is Royal Caribbean has Vision of the Seas, and they first put Vision of the Seas there in Baltimore. I think it was just this last May, and she is going to be still running cruises there after January 2nd as well, down to Bermuda. But the Vision of the Seas will be there, as well as Carnival's Carnival Legend, and then also Norwegian is going to have their Norwegian Sun there for a bit. And so first of all, I just wanted to let you know some of the places they're going to go. So the Carnival Legend is going to be running the 6-night cruises to Bermuda, and then 7 and 8 day cruises down to the Eastern Caribbean. 7-night cruises to the Bahamas, and this is really fun. I love these special cruises when the cruise lines do them. A special 14-night cruise to the Southern Caribbean in November, and a special 14-night cruise to the Panama Canal in January. So there is Baltimore as a jumping off point for the Panama Canal. How handy is that? So I think that's an important one. Also, we've got Vision of the Seas, like I said, Royal Caribbean, that ship. They are going to be running 5-night cruises to Bermuda, as well as 8 to 13-night cruises to the Caribbean, as well as 7 and 8-night cruises just down to Florida. Like, if it's cold and you want to go, which it is cold, November 22nd through January 2nd there in Baltimore, how handy. Pop down to Florida on a cruise ship and enjoy the ship on the way, and you don't have to drive. The Bahamas cruises are going to call at, for the perfect day at Coco Cay. Now, the next one, oh, and that one, it's like I said, that Vision of the Seas is set to stay there. Okay, so I think that's wonderful. And then finally, the Norwegian Sun. It's going to run 5-night cruises to Bermuda as well, followed by a series of 12-night cruises to the Eastern Caribbean and Bermuda, visiting Puerto Rico, St. Thomas, Antigua, St. Martin, and other stops along the way. So I just wanted to put that out there. If you live close enough that you can drive to the port there, I know with Gordon and I, whenever we decide that we want to go on a cruise somewhere, always we have to look at plane tickets and see how that works with the budget that we set for what we're going to do. So if you can drive, I think that's a really nice way to do it, as well as some of these ships are older ships. But that is a really good segue into our next topic. I want to talk to you about the Island Princess, and this is really, really important, so listen up. First of all, any of you that have heard things about the Island Princess that makes you think that going on a cruise on her would not be the best, will you put that in the comments below for me? We noticed that someone recently said that they had a family member that had a cruise scheduled on the Island Princess, heard it wouldn't be a good idea to go on the Island Princess, so they actually canceled. So before we came on this cruise, I know I had heard from people like a wide range of things. We did bump into people, Let's Go family members on this cruise that did not have hot water for 2 days, but Princess quickly fixed it. They offered to move them to another cabin, and they were so well settled, they're like, you know what, if you can take care of it, it's okay. And so they took care of it really quickly. It was no problem. And that happens on cruise lines across the board. I routinely hear of that happening here and there, whether the ship is newer or older. So to me, that does not say it's an Island Princess problem. It's just that something that happens sometimes on a cruise. Other than that, like, yes, I had heard that, you know, she sure does need a dry dock, and you know, worn out, all of these things. So when we got on the Island Princess, I honestly have probably been a little pickier than I would usually be, paying closer attention is maybe a better way of saying it, really, to how things look, how the furniture feels, how the main dining rooms look, all of these things. And honestly, I can't figure out what someone is worried about. This ship is beautiful. Yep, she is an older ship. She is not brand new, but she doesn't show it. To me, when I look at her, I don't look and think she's an older ship and she shows it. I really don't think so, and I am being completely honest with you. The things that I would think that could maybe use a little bit of help, the Bayou Cafe is the Bayou Cafe. It's on some of their wording, they have Bayou Cafe and Steakhouse. Gordon and I had dinner there on Saturday night just to give it a try and see what it was like. The charge is $39 a person, and that includes everything. There was no added charge for gratuities or anything. And we had a really nice dinner. I ordered the lobster and Gordon ordered the steak. He got a porterhouse steak. He said that the steak was good. Wasn't the best one of his life, but it was by far not the worst either. And the lobster that I had was really good. Now, the sides were a little bit not quite what we expected, but they weren't bad. Do I feel like I really need to eat there again? Probably not. It was okay. But during the time that we sat there, so the way they have it is, I think they took another space and then turned it into a dining room area, because there is a bar that's kind of part of it. like over on one side, and then there's like a rail that goes around like the bar. There's some seating area for the bar, and there's an area with a piano there set up like someone's going to play it. So we purposely went on Saturday night. Our dinner reservation was at 8 o'clock because I wanted to get to hear whoever was going to play the piano. And no one came. No one played the piano. And every time we have walked by there, which is rather frequently because our cabin is at the very end of mid-aft, and maybe we're even aft. I think we're at the end of mid-aft. Anyway, so we are in the part of the ship often that we walk by there when we are on our way somewhere. So that is one thing that I could see them doing something about. There is a gap in the Island Princess's schedule that is from May 24th until July 5th of 2024, and I think that is for a dry dock. I know that she is going in a dry dock within the next let's see, November, October, and then you go 9 months from there. That meets the window of a crew member who told me that on their next they get done with their contract just as we are getting off the ship when we come back for our Northern Lights cruise. October 18th is the day we get off the ship. That's the day they're scheduled to get off, and their next contract that they are signing up for, they are not going to do this ship because they want to be on a ship that is not going to be in dry dock, and they know it's going to be in dry dock. So dry dock for the Island Princess is coming. I would guess that it's probably in that window, May 24th to July 5th, but I don't know for sure. All right. Now, so the other things that I kind of thought of, I paid attention when we have gone to shows in the Princess Theater. The seats don't feel worn out. They don't look worn out. The wheelhouse bar is beautiful. That's kind of, I wouldn't call it eclectic. There are a few different kinds of like sofas and like the wingback chairs, and just an assembly, like some different fabrics, different styles. But to me, that's kind of a style. You don't want them to all look the same. It is just nicer, I think, to have a variety, but they don't seem worn out. We've sat on them quite a few times. When I think of the Crooner's Bar, the fabric there on the seating there is kind of this crazy print, but I don't think it means that it was on clearance and they got it cheap. I think it's the style. And so this is my way of saying I've really tried to pay a lot of attention around the ship, and I don't see what needs fixed. So I want to hear from all of you what you would say, what you have heard that would make anyone think that they wanted to cancel their cruise. Our stateroom is beautiful. The carpet looks great. We've not had any trouble with anything in our stateroom, and I have not heard of a lot of people complaining about, usually if there's a whole lot of problems, you hear about it, and I have not heard of any complaints. So please do let me know what you've heard. And if you have a cruise booked on the Island Princess, I don't think you need to cancel. Like, absolutely not. We have our group cruise in search of the Northern Lights that's going to sail on October 4th. And if everything was not okay on this ship, let me tell you, I would be trying to find out from Princess how I could give the lovely people that have booked to come with us the option to not go if this was not okay. I am excited to come back to this ship, and I am delighted for the Let's Go family members who are coming with us to get to experience this ship as well. It makes, honestly, I had not sailed on the Island Princess just simply because there's no international cafe. I know that's pretty shallow of me, but now that I have sailed on her, I would look for, if an itinerary goes where she's going, I'm on. It is that good of a ship. So wanted to put that out there for you. Now, another thing we noticed in our Let's Go Travel Tips Facebook group was Princess Ezair. Every once in a while, we just need to talk about it because we did have terrible experience with it last year when we went on a Mediterranean cruise. But I want you to know that I realize, and we have used Princess Ezair for lots of other cruises, that it worked just fine. And I know that there still are glitches with it here and there, but I also am sure that way more people fly smoothly and travel smoothly with Princess Ezair than not. So if you have a flight already booked with Princess Ezair, don't panic. Just be aware to keep an eye on your flights, both with the airline, and watch for any updates from Princess Ezair, and just really pay attention to what's going on with those. When you travel, take that 1-800-545-0008 phone number with you. That's the number you call if you have any travel delays or flights canceled, anything at all while you're traveling. You call and let them know, and just be aware. That's, I think, the most important thing. For all of the cruises that we have got booked with Princess right now, and it's quite a few, we have not booked Princess Ezair yet. On the ones that we have plane tickets for, which are quite a few of them. I'm back. That was our room steward, and he brought the Princess Patter for tomorrow, which on this ship, they do call it the Princess Event Listing. I still call it the Patter. And then also an invitation to an art auction. I've noticed on this ship, just a quick thing here, that a lot of the art that they have is Disney. They have some that like Thomas Kincaid, a couple of other pieces, but not very many, and a lot of Disney. So there's a window to what they've got this cruise. I just wanted to let you know, on the cruise, on the plane tickets that we have booked them all on our own. We check the price on Ezair, we have checked the price on the airlines, just booking it ourselves, and truly it has either been more with Princess or the same. And when it's the same, I would just rather have control of it without having to call somebody. So that's what I'm doing this time, and well, for the foreseeable future. But at the same time, remember that I've got Let's Go family members who have told me that they are so grateful that they booked with Princess Ezair, because when their flight was delayed, someone from Princess was waiting for them right at the airport to take them right to the ship right away. So there are pros and cons with it. I will say that it's really important to always enter your flight information in the cruise personalizer if you book on your own. If you book with Princess Ezair, then the flights are automatically there. It just automatically pulls it in. But, sorry, the light's changing. But if you book on your own, put them in there so that they know where you are, so that when you don't show up to the ship, at least they know what flight you're on. I don't know that they would come to the airport to pick you up if you're not booked with Princess Ezair, but I also, if I end up with flight delays on a cruise that we are booked on, even if I didn't book with Princess Ezair, I would be calling that 1-800-545-0008 number and letting them know where I am and what's going on, so that they know. And I'm sure you will get more help that way. So just wanted to put all that out there to think about. So if you've got a Princess Ezair flight booked, don't worry about it. If you booked on your own, don't worry about it. Just be aware of what's going on and be prepared for it. Now I want to tell you about our day here really quick. So we, like I said, have been in the port of Greenock, Scotland. That's the way that our Scottish tour guide said it today. And we booked an excursion called The Best of the Scottish Highlands. Picked us up, of course, here at the ship, and we started off and stopped at a town called Luss, L-U-S-S, and it is right there on Loch Lomond. So we got to walk out right on the pier there of Loch Lomond. They drop you off at this little bus park that is right near a little market, and then you walk it just a few blocks into town. Then you walk down their sweet little town main street there to the end there where the pier is, and you get to see the loch and everything. Ben Lomond is also beautifully visible from there, so that was really special. As you walk back to we took a loop that takes you back. If you go there, if you're looking at Loch Lomond at the end of the street, look over to your right and don't miss the church that is over there. It has a cool cemetery, a beautiful cemetery around it, and it was not open today, so we didn't get to go in, but it was still beautiful to see. And then we looped back around. There's a shop or two there on that main street, but it said it would open at 9, but it didn't open at 9, which is neither here nor there. And then once you go back over by where all the buses have to park, and there's a service station there for people, lots of people were there other than just the people on the bus. They have a little market, and it's a really nice place to get a couple of postcards. They've got some souvenirs in there. Gordon got another wool patty cap because he wears those a lot, because his head gets cold in the winter time because this is a wool one. And we got some ice cream there. Just had a lovely, I eat more ice cream on vacation in Europe and the United Kingdom than I do any other time in my life. Want to make that clear. But anyway, so we did that, then hopped back on the bus, went along. Our tour guide did a really good job telling us about the history of the area. And then we stopped at a place called Rest and Be Thankful, because apparently during the time clear back in the 1700s, when England was trying to take over Scotland and the Jacobites were giving them a lot of trouble, they put a man in charge, I think his last name was Wade, and he had the soldiers from England build this road that went down through and up. It was a lot of hard work. So when they got all done, they stopped at a place and they called it Rest and Be Thankful. It is a spectacular view of the whole valley going down. I'll have Gordon put this in so that you can see it. Absolutely beautiful, just a spectacular view. So we were there for about 10 minutes so we could take pictures and walk around. Then we got back on the bus and went to Inverary. So Inverary is a nice town situated right on a beautiful loch, and in addition to that, Inverary Castle is right there as well. So the way the timing was is our lunch was scheduled for 11:30 at the Bramble, which is just right there on the main street there in Inverary. So we had about 40 minutes before our lunch to walk around and lock. They have a nice monument with a soldier standing there on it to the soldiers from that area that were lost in World War I. And so we enjoyed that time before, had an absolutely delicious lunch, like excellent salad with bread, and then a main course, and then Victoria's sponge cake for dessert. It was so delicious. All of it was just, if you ever go to Inverary, eat at the Bramble. If we get to go back sometime, I'm going to make sure that's where we eat. It was that good. Then we had a little bit more time to walk around, met back at the bus, and they drove us over to the Inverary Castle. And so we got to have a tour of that. They gave us those little, and here's the problem. Here's how we got to being late back to the ship. So they gave us, you know, those little whispers. They're just the little things with the ear things so that you can hear what the tour guide is saying. Well, they didn't, of course, want her to talk loud to the whole group while we were in the castle because there were other visitors there as well. So we all had those to listen to her. At the end of the tour, I feel like turned hers off because mine just kept beeping. And so of course we turned ours off. She had told us what time to be back to the bus. So we finished the tour, walked through the gift shop, and then we went over because they had the little tea room, and the first piece of Victoria's sponge cake had been so good. I thought, well, I know I'm too much of a goody girl. And we got another piece of sponge cake and ate that. And so we shared that. And then we got they had ice cream from the Isle of Arran, Arran, if you're not familiar with that. So we tried some of that. So we're just finishing, and I'm gone to throw the things in the trash, and a guy from the bus that was sitting behind us came up and said, you know what, she was wrong on the time, we need to go now. So they were trying to find everybody. Apparently she had turned her thing back on and announced it, but a whole bunch of people didn't have their little whisper thing on anymore because it was only supposed to be while you were in the castle, and we knew what time. So we ended up leaving. She had calculated the time wrong. We were supposed to be back to the bus at 3:30, and all of this happened at about 2:40. So we, of course, followed this gentleman back to the bus. We knew where it was, and then the tour guide went off to look for people. Finally, she got everybody, and so we ended up just being late back. I don't think I have ever had a bus driver drive that fast. We were like flying down the road, and like I don't really, I'm sure he wasn't endangering us. I feel like he knew what he was doing, but I just had to shut my eyes for a while because I was so worried. But we got back here, and we ended up only being 15 or 20 minutes late. somewhere in that area. And so it was okay. So here's what I've learned. The next time I am on an excursion with a tour guide with those little whisper things, once we start using them, I'm going to leave them on, because if I would have had it on, then we would have heard her announce that, you know, that she was moving up the meeting time by 40 minutes. And it wasn't our fault. She said it was her fault, but because lots of people turned it off. But anyway, there you go. Keep your whisper on if you're on an excursion, even after the time that you should need to have it on. So that's what happened to us. Then we got back, and if you were here for our live sail away, you got to hear the bagpipers were there. Just playing beautifully for us. It has really been a special day here in Scotland. I'm so grateful that we got to come. If you don't know, this is like extra special to me because my main name is from Scotland, and it's just really a special. It's been on my list for so long to get to come. It's from a clan that hails from the Highlands, is where my people are from, so it was delightful. We just really had a lovely day. So if you've got any questions about the best of the Scottish Highlands excursion, you can put that in the comments below. I want to hear what everybody has been hearing about the Island Princess. I don't know how I missed that. I know I have one Let's Go family member that had written a review, and I don't, that made me, like I said, be a little bit more picky since we've been on here. But we have walked all over this ship, like all over. We've been on like we've walked all over the plaza level. We've been like on all the different levels because there were some broken washers and dryers. So one day we had to find dryers on another level. Like we have walked all over this ship, and I haven't seen problems. Doesn't mean that there are never any, of course, but let me know what you've been hearing. And thanks for your wonderful support. And like I said at the beginning, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Please give this video a thumbs up. And we surely will be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.